Okay, the last company is ICBC. That's the bank. Okay, Industrial Commercial Bank of China. Just to give you a quick overview of the bank. So by the way, they are global bank. They are actually in all these countries. And based on what I see in the annual report, they are still predominantly state-owned. Okay, you see their major shareholders. The two major shareholders are actually own about 65%. So basically, is still like a government bank or at least owned by the government. Okay, so to me that is more like a positive lah. Okay, I think if let's say you have the government support, very likely won't die lah. Okay, so this is my point of view. Okay, of course, feel free if you have different, but the major shareholder are actually state owned, owned by the government. Okay, interestingly, I didn't know it's actually so big. So if you go by market cap, it's actually the largest in Asia and third largest globally lah. So just to give you some context, DBS is ranked 23 based on market cap. In terms of the size of the bank, DBS is 23 position, ICBC is third, okay? Of JP Morgan is actually the largest. And in Asia, of course, in China, including China, ICBC is actually the largest bank. So for banks, yes, I definitely like the largest one. So again, something I like very much. This is very interesting. Even though they are only the third largest in terms of market cap, in terms of profit, they actually have the highest. Highest profit. You can see JP Morgan is actually the largest bank, but profit-wise, actually ranked second. Whereas ICBC, can you see, is actually the third bank, but profit-wise is actually the top. So in fact, it's the most profitable bank in the world. But of course, caveat, I get this from ChatGPT. I think can trust. Of course, feel free to go and verify. Okay, so now it's good to be AI infused, they call it. So I purposely have a bit of AI in preparing so that when people ask me, yes, I'm also a AI ready what do you call that? Analyst. Same thing, business report, quite positive. Top 10 dividend stocks featuring ICBC. So they actually have quite a good rating. Okay. Now, actually, I'm going to just spend a little time here. So for banks, we actually don't look at what do you call the 6 tests to see whether bank healthy or not. We look at actually this thing called capital adequacy ratio. Okay, I am actually not going to show you all the video on it, what exactly is capital adequacy ratio. So what's going to happen here is this: I'll just paste this link onto the chat. When there's time, you're going to watch yourself or what exactly is capital adequacy ratio. Simply put is, okay, how bank work here is this. If let's say I have $1, if the bank receive $1, they can lend out more than $1. Okay, totally legit. Totally legit. If let's say you deposit $1 in the bank with your $1, they can lend out more than $1. Okay, so now there is actually this ratio between how much money the bank has versus the total loan out. Okay, so just a quick question. Capital adequacy ratio is the ratio between how much the bank has versus how much the loan is out. So if capital adequacy ratio is high, right? Is high, that means it's higher risk or lower risk. Okay, here is the question. Capital adequacy ratio, simply put, is how much the bank has versus how much loan is being loaned out. So if the capital adequacy ratio is high, that means the bank has high risk or low risk. Thank you so much. Low risk, that means they have more cash to support the loan. Okay, so generally speaking, okay, there are some standards, international standards. They call it Basel 2, Basel 3. Those interested, you can watch the video. So to pass Basel III, this ratio must be more than 10.5%. Okay, this is an international standard, and as you can see, basically this bank will pass this standard. So this is the way to do financial health check for the bank. So it's actually quite healthy, as you can see. Okay, it actually passed the test. Okay, business I like, one of the largest bank, the larger the better, that's what I believe. Financial healthy. Okay, pricing, I usually just look at price to book. So for banks, I don't do DCF, I do price to book ratio. Is less than 1, as you can see here. Okay, less than 1. PE for ICBC, look, very low. If you compare to DBS, DBS PB is more than 1. PE, if I'm not wrong, is 11, 12 times. Okay, dividend yield about 4.5%. Okay, so in fact, relative to a lot of international banks, the valuation is still very low. Very low. But if you compare to China Bank, it's not the cheapest. But it's definitely considered undervalued. Okay, definitely considered undervalued. Oops, what's happened? Oh no. Okay, sorry. Okay, definitely considered undervalued. If you want, you can just compare DBS, then you know what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm quite sure you all by now know PB below 1, very cheap to me. P ratio less than 10 is quite crazy. Okay, dividend yield 4.5 is actually quite decent. Of course, you can argue that there are cheaper banks, are sure, to which its own. They are probably equally good. But of course, in this case, ICBC, I think they are the largest bank. There should be some premium to it. That's what I believe also. And the best part here is they're actually giving very steady dividends. Okay, so these are the dividend that's actually being paid up over the years. You can see it's actually quite steady, and in fact is increasing. You can see that it's actually a slow upward trend. So very happy. Okay, and with that, this is my overall conclusion for this stock. I will actually consider this as a both growth and income stock. Okay, again, why growth? So banks, of course, by right, it won't be like a really growth lah. So the growth come from where? Growth come from the whole China economy lah. So of course, if I think China do well, China continue to grow, the bank will grow lah. Also, this is at least what you can see from the Singapore side. So when Singapore economy do well, the banks are the one that will also follow through, also do well lah. Okay, but of course, if you want to get this, you must believe that the China long-term growth prospect lah. If you think that no, China is still going downward trend, then of course don't touch lah. Also, this is interesting if you believe in China long-term growth prospect and you want to enjoy the dividends while waiting for the surge. So again, quite interesting lah. I really get Tom has actually come in. So Tom has shared already. So basically, he said that this stock is range bound. But to me, I don't care because I'm still getting dividends. And let's say for long term, I believe at China grow, you range bound. You give 4 year, 5 year, 6 year, never mind. Because I'm actually still getting dividends. Then after that, one day if China really grow like what I believe shoot up, so it's 皆大欢喜 everyone happy. I get the dividends while I wait. Then after it went up, then I collect my capital gain.